Sagittarius, hello, and welcome to your summer 2025 shapeshift reading, where we're looking at the shape you're shifting out of, the shape you're shifting into, and what that shapeshift looks and feels like for the summer season. I'm Andy, I'm your reader, and I'm joined today by the Unveiled Tarot, a new deck by comic artist Jesse Lonergan. All right, so let's get into your shapeshift, Sag, and see how you are shifting this summer. Show us the shape Sag is shifting out of. Oh, interesting. The Star. Searching the heavens for some higher guidance. Putting out the homing device, the beacon. Okay, interesting. The Star, seeking. Lovely. Looking to something higher for guidance and direction. Shifting into, whoa, card explosion. Okay, cool. In all this, we have the Seven of Pentacles. Okay, now, like, how do I actually do it? Trying to think through. The gears are turning as you're trying to think through and strategize how to make the damn seed grow that you've planted. Okay, cool. So you're taking it from like dreams with the Star into reality with the Seven of Pentacles of Earth. But maybe you're feeling a little like frustrated with having to wait for it to grow. It's kind of like watching water boil. And so what we see, the cool thing about this deck is it gives you a little like picture within a picture of what's really going on. Unveiling the truth. And so in this picture, we see someone just sort of like waiting impatiently perhaps for a seedling to grow. And up here we see all of the wheels and cogs turning and trying to kind of like overthink it into existence. Overthink it into existence is very funny. Yeah, that sounds right. One more card to show Sag's shapeshift this summer. Yeah, so, okay, again, we kind of have a lot of things here, but maybe it's just like calm and patience. Oh, I actually really like that. Yeah, you're wanting to move faster. We'll take both of those. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Nice. Nice. Okay, let's look at it together. So the Star, shifting out of the Star into the Magician. So I love the space theme. Lots of astronaut, like very Sagittarius explorer, exploring new territories, new terrain. So Sag, you are wanting to do that. You're kind of seeking to get more out of life. Okay, like what's the next big calling for me? And you're going from this sort of searching, seeking phase into the doing phase with the Magician. It's like, okay, now I'm actually going to walk on the moon. Like, I'm not just here on Earth, like finding the moon out in outer space. I'm going to go to it. I'm going to go get it and I'm going to walk on it and I'm going to like tangibly arrive there and do the thing I set out to do. But in the meantime, I think you're having some like pace anxiety because you're Sagittarius, you're Knight of Wands, like you're on a motorcycle or like a speeding horse, like you're wanting to get to the moon immediately, but it's taking a little longer than you hoped. And maybe you're only seeing like a little bit of growth. And it's sort of like Sag, you can't overthink something into existence. Okay, I just want to write that down so I don't forget because I just love it. Overthinking. Okay, you can't overthink something into existence. The Queen of Cups has patience. The Queen of Cups knows when to just take a break, sit on the dock, and let the natural processes happen because they are happening without you. You did the work to plant the seed. You're going to continue to do the work to cultivate it, to help it grow, to give it all of its nutrients. But you can't just sort of magician your way and like magically get to the end of something and like skip all these steps. It's sort of like the unveiling of this magic trick is like, it's not a magic trick. You don't get to the moon by wishing to get to the moon, by just doing some sort of magic trick. It's not magic. It's actually, there is a very clear reason why the ball is always under this cup or whatever. It's just like, you just don't know the mechanism. And if you don't know the mechanism, you think it's magic. You're learning the mechanism, I think, Sag. And if you know how plants grow, you know how nature works, work with it, not against it. It's not magic, it's nature. So let it take its course, that kind of thing. And it's not gonna happen overnight. So the Queen of Cups is offering you the opportunity for the emotional maturity to cultivate patience for the process and to let things unfold a little more naturally. It's great that you have big goals, and it's great that you're ready to like set out about practically achieving them. But also you have to have the emotional maturity to make room for nature to unfold as it naturally does. Okay. We're going to use the Dark Exact Tarot now and get some clarifying cards. 1 second. Hey Sag, sorry about that. Different day. We got interrupted yesterday when some sort of large wingspan raptor tried to go for my ducks. So I just had to have a whole thrilling chase. But I've had a chance to sit with your cards, same cards as yesterday. And I want to read to you what Jessie Lonergan says about the Magician, because I think it'll help us get back into this reading. Anything is possible if people believe it so. Through pure willpower, determination, and a clever shuffling of the elements, the Magician unifies heaven and earth, or at least makes people believe that they have. In some cases, facts only get in the way of dreams and pure imagination. In moving forward, you must be resourceful and use your skills and abilities to manifest the reality in which you want to live. You have everything you need to craft the best version of you. In the same way as the ball moves from cup to cup, jump between personas until you find the one that is most useful for your goals. Reach the heavens, but keep your head clear. Don't lose track of the ball or yourself. I mean, I love this permission given to Sagittarius to switch personas until you find the one that serves what you want to do in this life or who you want to be. Especially since we're getting these cards that are showing a process of dreaming really big. And maybe, Sag, you're at this moment of like visioning forward what new possibilities could be here for your life. It's a very sort of zoomed out perspective of like, okay, what's next for me? Like, what am I seeking? What am I seeking to do? What am I seeking to become? What is my purpose? These are all questions of the star. And the magician is ready to go there. It's ready to like go the distance and put this into practice. And again, like try on the personas or the skills or the abilities necessary to actually make it happen. And I think you're doing that, Sag. It's just, you're at the beginning of it. And so it's, I feel like a lot of my readings are just, the core message is patience, like let it unfold. Things take time. It's gonna happen, but it's best if it happens in the right timing. Like no one wants to hear that. But I do think that's part of what's happening here is, a watched pot never boils. So realize that you're just sort of beginning to put leaves out there towards this dream. And you've no idea what that could even fully become or bloom into. And you sort of staring at it and fretting about it is not going to make it grow faster. So it's sort of like the best thing you can do is just like go find that meditative state of calm where you can like touch trust, like touch this really profound level of trust in your life, in the universe, in whatever this higher calling is that you feel like you've been called towards, or, you know, maybe it hasn't clarified for you yet. And again, that's okay. You're just at the beginning of a much longer process that kind of needs to work itself all the way through. So while you're in it, while you're in these beginning stages, it's like the game, the strategy is to remain calm, to keep your composure, to not let fears, worries, anxieties pull your emotions all over the place and possibly influence how you go about achieving these explorations that you're hoping to be able to find and discover. There's going to be a lot to discover along the way. And so maybe part of this, like, strategy is to really lean into curiosity about it rather than fretting about timing. Okay, I want to get into Coleman Stevenson's Dark Exact Tarot. I've had this deck for so long. And we're going to get some clarity on this for you, Sag. Let's start with the star. Such cool imagery. And you know what? I want to say something about this too, because what's amazing about this deck is the insight within the larger image. So in particular in the star, we have this like more modern image of a satellite exploring the far reaches of space, but then in the inner image, we see like a more ancient astronomer or astrologer, probably both, peering into the skies, asking these very same questions. And so there's this tie to history, and there's this tie to like those who have come before you and those who have asked the same questions you are now asking, just with very different resources and very different like skills and abilities now versus then. Different things to actually work with to help you in your explorations. But it's like at this very core, human questioning remains the same. So that there could be that like existential conversation that's part of this. Okay. Let's clarify this star. What's the vision, you know? What's this higher calling or this like questioning purpose, questions of purpose? Okay. Clarifying the star for Sag this summer. What are you seeking? Okay. Chariot, you're seeking to move to the next level of your life. You're seeking to the vehicle, the spaceship maybe, that will get you there, that can actually sort of propel you forward to meet these things that you've only dreamed of or asked questions about. And this particular chariot is shown with a heart, a human heart, and a key. Because really this is a very personal pursuit, Sag. This is you saying, okay, not only like, what am I curious about, or what is my purpose, or you know, like, what should I be doing with myself and my time in this lifetime? But it's very much like, what is the key to my heart? And I think reframing this question of like pursuit and purpose, like what is the pursuit that I should do? What should I pursue? What should I devote myself to? Maybe a big part of actually finding that answer is asking a different question, which is just, what is the key to my heart? And that answer will move this forward. If you answer honestly. Sorry, that just came in my head. If you can answer that question honestly, which I will also say is really hard to do if you're young. Actually, maybe it's just really hard to do in general, but I know from experience of being like in my 20s, for example, that question was really hard to answer honestly, and that's okay. That's part of being in your 20s. Okay, tell me more. Interesting, 9 of Wands. So are you almost at the end of something? Because the 9 of Wands is like reaching either like the limit of your capacities. Like, okay, I know, I'm not sure what's next, but I know I can't stay here anymore, or I know I can't keep doing things this way because I'm running out of that, or I'm burning out from that. It's this, it's also a card of perseverance though. So yes, like it's the 9 right before the 10, which is the final card in the suit. So it's sort of this edge of an ending of sorts, but it's not quite there yet. So you're sort of on this verge, on this precipice of something finally completing. But in the meantime, there's just endurance, determination, having to keep on keeping on. Even maybe if you don't want to, it's like, oh, I just kind of have to endure this until it finally closes and I can move on towards something else. Okay, interesting. Tell me more about this shapeshift. Okay, 7 of Cups. Interesting. So 7 of Cups wants to come under the star here. So there's some interesting imagery here with these like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, okay. 7 stars like prominently placed in the sky, which could be a nod to the 7 planets, like the 7 most visible planets. Love that. It could also be, yeah, and then there's this like parallel to the 7 cups on fire. The 7 of Cups is a card of confusion. It's a card of like emotional overwhelm, a card of being in this space of like, there's so many swirling possibilities out there. I don't actually think I can choose one, or like I don't know which direction to go in because it's all so possible, and that is just completely overwhelming, and it makes it really, really difficult for me to answer this question honestly and clearly about what is the key to my heart when I'm like, I don't know, it could be any one of these things, you know? Like I'm so freaking overwhelmed right now. I'm so freaking tired and burnt out from whatever it is that I've been doing, that I can barely think clearly. Okay, so maybe there's a lack of clarity that's starting this shapeshift, and like a struggle to answer this question of purpose, of where do I go next, of what is the key to my heart, what is my like North Star, my guiding light. And then the Knight of Wands came out, and it wants to go underneath the 7 of Pentacles, because I think it's this sort of repeat message. The Knight of Wands, by the way, is just like the Sagittarius card for me. It is the card of like spontaneity and adventure, and like, let's just pick up and go, and let's make quick decisions and do things very quickly. It's a card of a person that gets bored easily, because it's like, okay, I want to do this, and then I want to do that, and then I want to do that, and then I want to do that. And so this like desire to be, maybe 7 of Cups, be doing many different things it can really, really tire you out. This is also a Sagittarius card, 9 of Wands. Because you're kind of just like trying to entertain all of your many interests, Sag, which is a challenge. Like as a fellow mutable person, I know it's a challenge. And so I see this struggle to stay in one place and let something happen. It's like, okay, I planted this seed and I waited for it to grow and it didn't grow right away. So I lost interest and now I'm going over here and I'm gonna do this. And you know, and there's this like a little bit of a lack of focus maybe. And an impatience that's contributing to this sort of like, oh, why won't it happen? Why isn't it moving? Why won't it grow already? Okay. It could even just be saying getting bored. Just getting bored with the process, with the natural pace of things, is you find it boring. Interesting. And that kind of makes your head just noticing, yeah, Page of Wands also. Okay, interesting. With the Page of Wands, I heard, okay, wait, step back. Step back. Oh, cool. So the Knight of Wands wants to be doing things. It is, Knights are cards of action. They are movement oriented. They want to get things moving. Whereas a Page is more of like a learning energy. Something that is like wanting to understand something or like get the message that they can convey. And there is this sort of ranking system in the tarot that puts the Page below the Knight and the Knight before the King and Queen. So there's something about, whoa, take a step back from the Knight to the Page, from the Knight that wants to go ahead and get this moving and make it happen and be there already, to the Page. And it goes, hey, hold on, like, why don't you sit back for a second? Why don't you take a step back and get back to your, for me, when I pull the Page of Cups, I think of like why I do what I do. Like, what is the passion behind it? Is it still there? You know, like sit with that. Is that passion when you sit at the edge of the dock and you watch the sunset or the sunrise? Like, is that flame for that thing still going? Is it still there? And if it is, it's just like not as sparky and interesting because it's not moving the way you want it to or hoped it would, or as fast or whatever. Then maybe it's like, okay, just pull back again. Like, find that Page of Wands is so curious, you know, like find that spirit of curiosity that's just sort of like sits in front of a blank table and says, okay, I have all these raw materials and I'm not even gonna have like an end goal in mind. I'm just gonna start making stuff. Like just really pure raw creativity rather than saying, okay, I've been commissioned to create this thing and I'm going to like take action to do it. This is more of an exploratory, loose, creative space with the Page of Wands. So I think the message here is like, when you are wanting this to move faster than it is, take a step back and get back into that like looser, exploratory, creative, artistic mode. And I think that will help you find that calm and that the emotional clarity that you need to decide if this is really something you want to pursue or stick with, or if it's like worth sticking this out. Interesting. Okay, tell me about the Magician, which is the doing of the thing. Eight of Cups. I just said the doing of the thing, and then we get a card about emotionally investing in something and then deciding to leave it where it is and walk away from it. Six of Swords. A card of moving on. Okay, interesting. So we're getting this. And then the Emperor. Whoa. Queen of Wands. Okay. What on earth? I don't know what the message is, but let's look at it together. Okay, the Star with this question of what is the key to my heart? What am I going to pursue next? What am I seeking? Where is it going to take me? Because I need it to take, with the Chariot, it's like I need to go somewhere. I need this to move forward. And with the Nine of Wands, it's like it's in this sort of endurance space of having to just like stick with it. And also there's a lot of confusion around where to go next. The Seven of Cups, just swirling possibilities and nothing really definitive. And the overwhelm is very real. So then the Seven of Pentacles is struggling with how slow things are moving and struggling to find patience for the process because that Knight of Wands wants to get there already. But then the Queen of Cups says, hey, Page of Wands, whoa, let's step back. Let's just like keep our hands busy while we wait for this to happen. Let's get back to our like engaging with creativity from a curious place. And then it's almost like the Queen of Wands is like, yes, that is how you master this fire energy, Sagittarius. And then we get to this Magician, which is almost like the shift you end up making once you move through this Knight of Wands, Page of Wands, Queen of Wands process with like engaging with your own creativity. It's like you come out the other side sort of with the clarity that you need to identify how things are ready to move. Emotionally, Eight of Cups, having to move on from something that you've invested in. So this could be a scenario where like maybe you thought this one, back to that idea in the beginning that I read from the Magician of like try on different personalities until you find the one that serves your goal. Eight of Cups could be this scenario where you've tried on a certain persona or skill set, application of your skill set. You've invested a lot into that emotionally, but maybe you, through this Knight of Wands, Page of Wands, Queen of Wands process, you have actually discovered, you know what, that is not the way I want to apply myself. I'm going to leave that on the beach and walk away. Six of Swords, move on from that. I'm going to get in the boat and I'm going to move to new shores. And then Emperor, Magician, this is you knowing yourself. This is you like really kind of taking charge of your experience and of your life and saying, okay, I'm director here. And stepping into that leadership role. And I think it's really interesting that we move from 7 stars and then the Magician, there are 6 visible stars, and then the Emperor, there's 1. That like 7th, when I looked at the Magician, I was like, where's that 7th star? And then the Emperor came out. I'm like, oh, interesting, there it is. So I wonder if there's like just something very specific that you're able to hone in on here that will help you leave behind the things that are actually not worth investing in for you and move on towards the things that are. Okay? We're going to use the postcards from the liminal space and get you some interesting, oh my gosh. Okay, I feel like I just saw all the cards and I want to get them out. So snip, snip could be really useful here because as you go through something, oh yeah, totally. Magician is only as good as their tools. Okay, actually, let's put it all in and I want to find Trash Magic because that was on the bottom of the deck when I picked it up. And then I shuffled. Crap. Where is it? trash magic is such a Sag vibe. It's this idea of just like making things with whatever's right in front of you, and it's not precious, and it doesn't have to be. Like, it can just be whatever. Let's just make stuff. You know, we can make magic with trash or with like what other people would throw away. No, that's actually something really great. You know, like, get out that glue gun and let's make some things happen. Okay, this is kind of cool. What do we want to do here? Okay, let's look at this together. This is the full spread. Okay, so then there's this nuance sort of emphasis to the story, which is when you're in that Knight of Wands, Page of Wands, Queen of Wands, underneath the Seven of Pentacles, Queen of Cups, this process of engaging with your creativity in the process feels like the trash magic vibe. That's what feels to me like you just realizing that things don't have to be perfect or be at this like end goal in order for you to engage with your creativity. You can make magic with whatever trash is right in front of you, and it doesn't have to be so precious. And that, like, I think it frees you up in this way to snip, to like choose to cut things out that you don't actually genuinely want to continue to engage with. And that helps you answer this question of what is the key to my heart? Because the answer, I think, at the beginning of this reading is Seven of Cups. It's like, well, I don't know, like everything. Like, I love everything. I love so many things. But then by the time you get to engage with this trash magic through the royal personalities and the wands, you get to the other side, Eight of Cups, Six of Swords, which is snip energy. It is, okay, I'm walking away from this. I'm moving on from this. And I'm ready to cut out the things that are not a yes for me, that are not actually the key to my heart, but that I've just been engaging with out of obligation or out of just like boredom or out of like simply not knowing what else to do. So it's trimming the fat. It's like getting rid of excess, snip. And just this like the glue gun in the trash magic that helps meld things together, and then the scissors that help sort of separate things, that solvent coagula vibe. These are the tools in a magician is only as good as their tools. These are the tools that are there on that shelf for you. I mean, the glue gun is even in that card. Right over top the magician. I mean, come on. And then Be Your Own Daddy is just like the Emperor card completely. So I think, again, like the whole reading is shifting you towards knowing yourself more and more specifically, and getting to this place where you are empowered to start actually making some cuts, which is another way of saying making some choices. But that's only going to happen when you take the pressure off of needing to get to some sort of end result and just let yourself make trash magic for a while. And then that clarity will come through a more like loose and free creative process. The clarity will come, and then you'll be able to be like, oh, shit, I know what to do. I know what I want to do, and I know what I don't want to do. Grab the scissors, snip. Now you're being your own daddy. Now you are the magician that has that more refined tool set. You know, or maybe if it's not like pivoting careers completely or something like that, it's like just honing in on what are the tools that you actually want to engage with. You know, it's like, the star asks you, what do you actually want to do? Who do you actually want to be? What questions are you actually asking in this life? And what are you actually seeking to know and understand and experience? And when you can answer that question, then like the trickle down starts to refine the tools that you're using and engaging with. And you can let the ones that you are no longer wanting to engage with, you can let them go. And that is just like a whole lot of leadership and agency. But it's really kind of interesting that it starts from a much looser place with the Page of Wands. So please, Sag, don't get ahead of yourself. Be willing to be loose and free in the process without the end goal, because then the end goal will come, you know? Then the pursuit will clarify. Okay, trash magic. Love that for you, Sag. I hope this is helpful, and I hope it empowers you to use what you got. What's that the Vermont saying? Use what you have, use it up, fix it, wear it out, or do without. It's something like that. Anyway, yeah, you have resources. Use what you have, get playful with it, and things will start to emerge. Okay? Magician, you're so capable. All right, Sag, I hope this was helpful. Happy summer. We'll talk soon.